Okay, back for another edition of Heads Up, and welcome back, listeners. It's been an interesting week of racing and sports. In fact, Money Shot, welcome aboard, and it was one of those weekends where I had three good bets and they were all leading and looking like winners, and they got down on the post. So, how was your weekend?
Well, Neil, it'd be fair to say it wasn't the best weekend. From my point of view, the Hurricane looked home for all money, but somehow managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah.
But the less said about that, the better. We turn the page, we move on, because that's what you have to do in this game.
Yeah, glue the page down and stomp it down firmly.
Yeah, but on the racing side, good to see Sam Weatherly having a stellar day at Rotorua last Saturday with the feature of the Taumarunui Cup going his way. Gentle Tonton, bit of a turnaround in form for him, but I guess the wetter track conditions did the trick there for him to get the money.
Yeah, and the good tempo set up by Katie McKean early on in Yock and Rint. It was a great run by him, I thought, on that good tempo to being stuck on the slower ground on the rail, which he had to do anyway, but he almost held on for us, but General Tonton. Interesting that he dropped in from about $9 or $8 in the tote to about $5.50 late, so some Aussie money coming late maybe. Who knows? And ended up on...
How was your day at the Dogs on Sunday?
I'll tell you what, I've been to a few race meetings, gallops and trots, and there's never been... Well, I've had derbies and oaks, that sort of thing, but there was a real buzz on course about those four match-up races all day, and during the heats, it was just incredible the banter that was going on. And I thought Riding Shotgun was home before the fourth heat, and I'm only kicking myself. I just watched the replay yesterday, and I think Shanturi was offered $5.20 fixed odds before that final heat, and if I'd known that, I would have laid off a bit on that. But no, Riding Shotgun had his chance, 100th of a second, half a nose or nose. That's racing. Did you watch it?
I did actually. I very much enjoyed it. It was quite compelling viewing. Just the way it worked out, and obviously, basically every heat bar one, the times got quicker, and all by 1/100th of a second each time. But yeah, no, I think it was a great concept. I'll do it again next year, I believe, at Wanganui.
Yeah, Wanganui, and who knows, it might be over a sprint or a longer distance, which would add a bit more interest to it as well. But we'll have to wait and see. And then the disappointment I had on the weekend was Wild and Famous after he won Force in Sydney, and if Bowman had stuck to the rail on the turn, I think he would have come through, shot clear and won the race, but instead he came out, knocked the second horse sideways and took his line and got put back to second. But as they say, that's racing, and let's turn the page, stomp it down and get on with this weekend. Anything else you want to mention before we move on, Money Shot?
No, I think the less said about last weekend, the better, Neil.
Yep, good. Okay, here we come. Part two in a sec.
The new season is upon us, Neil. The first group flat race comes up on Saturday, along with a couple of prestige jumping races. But the Easter Winter Cup Race 8 at Riccarton, 17-horse field, pretty even sort of field.
Yeah.
I know you've had success in this race before. You must have spotted one, hopefully for our listeners and subscribers to get onto tomorrow on Saturday. What do you like?
Yeah, it was a tough race, isn't it? Especially on that track, and it's supposed to be quite holding, so you need a good tough horse that'll be finding the line strongly after a good slog. And when it's got to be tough, but I just can't see her winning in a hard slog to the line. And what do you like, number 12, Do I Know You? I was impressed with the way he came home last start over 1400 metres. Ben Roper has 7 for this race, and I spoke to Tim Johnson because I was keen to know how it was hitting the line, but you couldn't see it after the line at Taranaki, and he said he was really impressed with the way it hit the line and went through it as well, and said he's definitely looking for a mile now. Drawn nicely, has early speed. I think he'll be in a nice spot with Lisa all press on. I think at 11 and 340 he's a good each way value, but wouldn't go silly in the race. But do you concur?
I don't know. I just think he's probably a better horse over a bit more ground. No, he's won 2 at the mile, but
You could be.
I always thought of him as more as a 2,000 metre type of horse, but a good run, fresh up after a slight freshen up. In the Opunake Cup. I'll go a little bit outside the square, actually, Neil.
Yeah.
A horse that does handle Riccarton and does handle heavy tracks. So I'm going to go with Platinum Command.
Aha, money come for it too. Yeah.
Yeah, $18. Just the Lisa Ladder stable seem to always go well when they travel down to Riccarton, especially over this carnival. So a little bit of value, number 7 Platinum Command for me, and I'd be happy to take you on for a chocolate fish. Okay,
you're on. I think, but I do agree. Platinum Command just beaten in this race last year, wasn't she, by Miss Three Stars, and 5th up. She wouldn't bring it down unless she thought she was had a realistic chance. So yeah, and she's been backed in from 21 to 18s apparently. So money's on, which is always a good sign. So okay, chocolate fish. I'll go head there.
Fair enough.
Yep.
I no doubt you'll give a full preview of some of the other main races on the site tomorrow, but I guess we should touch on Te Rapa. Looks like the way the weather is up north, we're going to get maybe a slow 7 sort of track. Nice sunny day in Hamilton. I was over there earlier.
Yep.
And some good fields, and I guess the definite highlight of the card tomorrow is the reappearance of the Class filly and now 4-year-old mare Volpe Veloce in race 5.
Yeah, $1.60. Is that too short or about right?
Probably value if you think about it. What she won, 7 out of 8.
That's right. Gee, look at it that way. Still, any horse that's fresh up, drawn out wide, 3-year-old filly up against the older horses the first time. There's 3 negatives. So $1.60, and she's mapped to get caught wide early. So what will Parksy do? I think being fresh up, you've got to look at getting a softer run as possible. You wouldn't want a gut buster going into the Tarzino Stakes, first one at Hastings. So I think, depending on how she jumps, if she jumps well, he'll probably go forward, second outer. They probably won't beat her, but if she snags back, they probably still won't beat her. So yeah, $1.60. I've had her about $1.90, but yeah, Class filly.
The money's come. I think there was a $5,000 bet earlier on her. So yep, I guess Class is permanent. She gets a bit of weight relief off those older horses, but you do make a valid point around those 3 negatives. So it'll be interesting to see. But she seems to find ways to win when things go against her. I know we potted her a couple of times through her 3-year-old campaign, and she left us with egg on our face. So see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah. And there's a certain horse racing in race 2 with the initials BTJ. And
that horse.
Give us the good oil. Give us the good
oil on BT Junior. Well, apparently best bet according to some scribes, and the Racing News has done a feature, I've been told. I haven't seen any of it, but he's well, he's working well, he's a happy horse. I guess the form line from his last start at Te Rapa stacks up. Jochen running 3rd. Gentle Tonton was well beaten in that same race, so he'd have to be half a chance. Informed jockey Troy Harris on, so I think he could hopefully put his foot in the till tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Troy Harris is an ideal rider for him, isn't he, the way he races?
He could even lead from that draw. There's not a heck of a lot of pace, so he might end up leading. He seems to not pull quite as badly as he was early in his career, so
that's right, does too.
We'll see how we go. Neil.
Yep. No, good luck tomorrow.
After last week, I'm a bit gun shy. I'm not going to say anything, make any outlandish statements after declaring the Hurricanes unbeatable. So we'll just go quietly, I think, this week, Neil.
I know that feeling. Rightio, back with part 3 with the money shots. I'm really interested about the Lions and the stats about what they are like at home. Anyway, we'll be back with that in a moment. Okay, this Sunday morning, about 2 a.m, we have the Super 15 final. And after last week, as the money shot said, we were all a bit gun shy after the Lions gave it to the Hurricanes in the second half. Now, money shot, could you give us a compelling case to back either team in this big game? Looking forward to it too.
Well, I mean, all this history and the stats would say the Lions should win.
Yeah.
No teams won outside of their own country in a final. No teams...
Yeah.
No. So, sorry, I tell a lie. The Crusaders have beaten the Brumbies once in Canberra, but no teams crossed the Indian Ocean either way to win an away game, being the final.
Okay.
I think the home team has won about 76% of all the previous finals, and the number one seeded team has won, I think, about 75% of the time as well. So all those stats are in favour of the Lions.
Okay.
Interesting, if you think back last year, the Hurricanes won their first title. The year before they were runners-up. And if you look at the Lions, they haven't won a title yet, but last year they were runners-up. So there's a trend there. The old saying, you have to lose one to win one.
Yeah.
The altitude, the Crusaders are going to find it very different from the conditions they've played in recently, with the damp underfoot conditions at Amy Stadium compared to the heat and the clear skies of Ellis Park. I just can't see the Lions really. I think they're massive value. I would have had them favourites for sure, but they are outsiders. And I think with 62,000 stark raving mad supporters cheering them on, maybe with the odd refereeing decision helping them out, or the TMO helping them, I just think they will have the confidence to do the business over the Crusaders, who, I think, won that game against the Chiefs, you could say, albeit a bit luckily with a couple of their tries, but I just think the Lions are the way to go, definitely at the price anyway. So current head-to-head price on the Lions is, if you just do winner of match, $2.10.
$2.10, good money.
So, yeah, I think the Lions are the way to go. The league...
I guess before we go to the league,
yeah,
the Hurricanes beat the Crusaders, didn't they, when you were down there?
That's right.
But the Crusaders weren't as strong as they were in the finals, weren't they?
Yeah, they had their front row rested, but so they're back to pretty much full strength, the Crusaders, but...
The Lions beat the Hurricanes pretty decisively, you'd have to say, wouldn't you? So it is really strong form, and with all those stats you mentioned, crikey, $2.10 does seem a really good value, all right. Anyway.
Yeah, probably not what our South Island friends want to hear, and I know there's a few people sitting on nice multis taken earlier in the season on the Crusaders, so good luck to them. But yeah, a game I wouldn't be going silly on, but I think the Lions can win it. The league, we've got 7 more games this weekend. Your favourite team, the Warriors, play the bottom of the table Knights, and all the money this week's come for the Knights. And you just get the feeling it's deja vu season after season. After that last State of Origin game and into the home straight of the round robin season, the Warriors just seem to cop a few injuries and just get on a big losing streak. Wouldn't be surprised if it continued again tomorrow, 5 o'clock daytime game for the Knights. They're still getting good crowd support even though they're not going that good, but they had a win last time over the Dragons. They might make it 2 in a row, but like a horse, it takes a long time to win a race.
That's right.
Often they go bang bang. So we'll suggest the Knights can beat the Warriors as well, Neil. So multi those two up and you get about $4.25.
Yep, no, it makes total sense. I've given up on the Warriors.
I know you've nearly given up on the Warriors.
I have given up a long time ago. Anyway, okay, it's a nice multi. I like the logic behind those, so, yep, good stuff. And what else? Nothing else you'd like to mention?
No, I guess,
the darts. Did you watch the darts?
Oh, yeah, the darts. That was the other disappointment last week, wasn't it? The darts. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Phil Taylor just got on a roll and was unstoppable. It was like a snowball cannoning down a mountain or gathering momentum as it goes, and was never in doubt. Unbelievable. Van Buren absolutely smashed. So, as I say, Neil, the less we talk about last weekend, the better.
Rightio. On to part 4 in a sec with our brickbats and bouquets and the multi-question for the week as well. One.
Part 4 now, listeners. Time for our brickbat and bouquets and the multi-question of the week. Neil, I think you touched on it already. I got this feeling you're not happy with the way trackside capture the run on after the line?
Yeah, I just wish they were consistent, because tracks like Te Rapa and Matamata, they do show at least 100 metres after the line to see how horses are finishing on after they've gone past the post. But there's a horse that I like in the Winter Cup, as I mentioned before, called Do I Know You, and in his race at Taranaki, they cut straight back to the winner after the post, and you want to see how these horses are finishing on past the post, and you just can't see. So there's no value in showing the jockey's backside after the post, apart from their winning connections. So just could they please just be more consistent in showing, they do it at Hong Kong, just past the post, so you can see these horses running on. It would be really good to have that consistency. Anyway, you got any brickbats?
Just one. I'm sure not many people saw it, but there was a pacing race at Mildura on Wednesday night, race 1, if you want to bring up the replays. The horse fell on the first lap, choked down, sort of fell, and the sirens were continuous and clear to obviously alert the drivers and tell them it was a no race. Commentator in his call mentions they had it confirmed from next door it's a no race, and then the drivers carry on, but lo and behold, it became a race. So it seems strange that why use the siren if you're not going to continue make it implemented, and then suddenly just go on what the drivers say. Seems a very strange situation to me, Neil.
It was. No, I had a look at the replay and I agree 100%. It was called off. Siren went, Stewart was waving them down. A couple of drivers were pulling their horses up, but realised, shivers, this could be a race, so they got stuck into their drives again and carried on. But no, that's a joke. Should have been called off. Anyway,
Did you manage to catch that new program? What was it called? In the Home Straight.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? I didn't see it.
Well, on principle, I think it's good that John and Alan fronted up. He's going to front up every month now and give us feedback on where the racing board is heading and spending our money. The focus was on non-turf tracks and the development of at least one of those somewhere in the country, and the cost of it and everything. So he's pretty keen to get one somewhere, which is good to hear or bad to hear, depending on which side you're on. But I think it has to be done somewhere. So it's good to see him fronting up. So maybe next time we can get onto that bidding platform, which starts up in about a year's time, he said. By this time next year, we should be up and going. So that'll be interesting. And what else? Multi-question for the week.
Well,
I said it would be.
Last week's was a bit tricky for some. Maria Alta, the horse that won the Taranaki Cup the day Neil cleaned up in the pick 6. So we better make it a bit easier, shall we, Neil?
Okay.
Well, Winter Cup feature race tomorrow. We want to know who won last year's Winter Cup. So you should be able to figure that out. If not, just go through this year's field and you might be prompted. So who was the winner of last year's Winter Cup? Email or text your answers to Neil and you could win a $20 multi.
Yep. 027 352 6402 or formpro@formpro.co.nz. Anyone can enter. Don't have to be a subscriber. So just get on and before 10 p.m. tonight. And if there's more than one, which there will be, my wife will draw out a lucky person, and hopefully it might be you. Never know. Don't forget, on Monday we've got the Form Pro ratings. That's free every Monday, and the speed maps are really hitting their straps. They were the other day. I was tweeting out some, I think it was about 7 winners that led Matt to lead and won. Good prizes too, so makes the doing the form good on the dogs. I enjoy it, those speed maps. And anything else you want to mention before we wind up?
What I will mention is the publicity you got from the sponsoring the Amazing Chase. Your name was plastered everywhere. I thought that was a good piece of sponsorship there, Neil.
Yes, it worked out quite well. So we'll be happy to sponsor it again next time. And it was good coverage and just something different. It's good to be involved in something like that because we're involved in times and sectionals and everything. So we were the backup to the official times, and we did check all the times as we were going along. David, who's in partnership with me on the rating site, was checking those as we went along. I was hoping the last race time was going to be wrong, but it wasn't. But no, it's all good fun, and it was really worth it as well. Okay, so are you getting out to watch the final now? Or are you going to My Sky it?
Probably My Sky it, if I was being brutally honest. I stayed up last week. I'm still hurting from that. I'll tell you what, I'll throw a curveball at you, Neil.
Yep.
Because I know you like curveballs. We're only 4 weeks away from the first leg of the Triple Crown, and the odds for the 3 Hawke's Bay races are out. Is there anything that catches your eye in those markets, of something that listeners want to have a bit of a long-range crack at?
Well, actually, I was going through the trials this morning, actually, and I'm really keen on a horse in the firstly. I know Coe's got to be hard to beat. $4 is a bit short. If he draws wide, he'd be no value. And I think Volpe Veloce's got to be tough to beat, and depending on how she goes tomorrow, she'll probably close in. But there's a horse called Coldplay. I saw at the trials, and she looks spot on, and she's one fresh up. She won fresh up last season, and the Baker Forsman played to horse's strengths. Knowing that she's won fresh up before, she's going to be set for this race fresh up, and I think at $12. You could back her now, but I'm thinking with Volpe Veloce closing up, she might drift out a point or two maybe, but doubt it. But no, $12. Now you're quite good at these future markets. You got us a.
No, I knew you were going to throw it back at me. I haven't looked, to be honest, Neil.
Have you?
Been busy doing other things this week, but no, I like your logic there. Actually, to be truthful, that sounds good logic. Certainly the gun trainers, aren't they, the Baker Forsman team?
Yep.
Coe, another year older. Eventually time catches up with all top athletes. And speaking of that, we'll swing right into another aspect. Usain Bolt. I think this is his last hurrah on the world stage in these world champs. Be interesting to see if time has caught up with him, or if he's still the fastest man on the planet.
Yeah, no, I saw him on the news the other day. He's looking good, and hopefully he goes out on a winning note. Incredible athlete, probably the greatest of all time. And, be good to see him bow out on a winning note. Okay, enjoy the rugby on Sunday morning, and hoping Do I Know You can get up for us on the Winter Cup. And BT Junior, not even making the bet of the day. Don't want to curse him though. He's going to be tough to beat, so good luck with that money shot. And
thank you, Neil, and enjoy your weekend, and I hope all the listeners have a good weekend too.
True, right, okay. See you next week.